For years, people have come to Google to ask questions like this. And now they're also asking questions that look more like this. They're asking longer questions, harder ones, and as you just heard from Sundar, lots more of them.
Google believes that people are searching differently now that AI is integrated into search. And so, what's their response?
For those who want an end-to-end AI search experience, we are introducing an all-new AI mode. It's a total reimagining of search. With more advanced reasoning, you can ask AI mode longer and more complex queries like this. In fact, users have been asking much longer queries, 2 to 3 times the length of traditional searches.
So yesterday was Google I/O, and they made a lot of announcements, mostly related to Gemini, but they kept talking about search, how AI search, particularly through things like AI overviews and this newer AI mode, which has been out in labs for a couple months, is making it so people are searching more. They're diving deeper. Hey, my name's Sam. If you're new here, this is a local SEO channel. So if you're a small business that serves local customers, then you're in the right spot. But even if you're just curious about how local SEO is shaping up in this new Gemini era that they've called it, then you're going to want to stick around, because we're first going to break down everything they talked about AI mode. And then there's some other cooler features that they might have hinted at that we could be looking at further on as the year continues. Let's keep going with AI mode.
First, with AI mode, you can ask whatever's on your mind. And as you can see here, search gets to work. It generates your response, putting everything together for you, including links to content and creators you might not have otherwise discovered, and merchants and businesses with useful information like ratings. Search uses AI to dynamically adapt the entire UI. The combination of text, images, links, even this map, just for your question. And you can follow up conversationally. Now, AI mode isn't just giving you information. It's bringing a whole new level of intelligence to search.
AI mode has been available in labs for a while, so in case you haven't used it, I'm going to show you what it looks like right now. So if you search something like general contractors near me, we get some ads, local service ads in this case. We get the map pack, pretty common. We are getting the people also ask, and then we get organic results. If you switch over to AI mode, which you can do by clicking this little AI mode button right here, you get something that looks like this. Here, let me click it so you can see the fun little animations. So you can see it's making multiple searches, looking things up, going into maps, and here we go, and it's presenting the results. And there's a lot of overlap between what you see in the map pack and what you see in the AI mode results, I will say. It's not the best for getting to things, but as far as for local businesses, it's kind of helpful. But I will say that for some results, what you'll see in the map pack and the organic results doesn't necessarily line up with what you see in AI mode. So you definitely want to keep looking at this, because we want to keep optimizing, want to keep showing up higher. And if you're wondering how it's doing this, they sort of explain it here.
What makes this possible is something we call our query fan-out technique. Now, under the hood, search recognizes when a question needs advanced reasoning. It calls on our custom version of Gemini to break the question into different subtopics. And it issues a multitude of queries simultaneously on your behalf. It searches across the entire web, going way deeper than a traditional search. And it taps into all of our data sets of real-time information, like the knowledge graph, the shopping graph, and in this case, local data, including insights from our Maps community of over 500 million contributors.
So there they are, again, specifically mentioning their wealth of local data that they have. So you want to make sure that you're still optimizing your Google business profile, doing things like getting reviews. That's still going to be massively, massively important. Now, my agency tends to work with service providers. Maybe you're one of those people out there. And when people are looking for service providers, they tend to dig a little bit deeper. And what they're going to mention here is a new feature that's actually going to be inside of Google Search that allows your potential customers or clients to dig a little bit deeper. And I think that's pretty cool, actually.
For questions when you want an even more thorough response, we're bringing deep research capabilities into AI mode. You already come to search today to really unpack a topic, but this brings it to a much deeper level. So much so that we're calling this deep search. Deep search uses the same query fan-out technique you just heard about, but multiplied. It can issue dozens or even hundreds of searches on your behalf. It reasons across all those disparate pieces of information, to create an expert-level, fully cited report in just minutes. It includes links to the web throughout, so you can easily explore and take action. Now, that's a core part of how we've built AI Mode overall, and how we've always thought about AI in search, because we believe AI will be the most powerful engine for discovery that the web has ever seen.
I'm curious to hear if you believe with what she just said there. Do you think that these new tools are going to help people find your business more? Why don't you drop a comment below? It seems like with a lot of AI search, the haves are winning and the have-nots are not. So I'm curious to see what happens, and I'm curious to hear what you think. Now, there was a lot of stuff about AI overviews, some data, things like that. I'm kind of over AI overviews at this point, so I want to jump ahead to some of the cooler features that were released that I think could be helpful down the road and where we need to be thinking for maybe what we'll be doing in 2026. So I'm going to skip back in the video and mention some of the AI stuff that they talked about. So tune in for this.
Next, we also have our research prototype, Project Mariner. It's an agent that can interact with the web and get stuff done. Stepping back, we think of agents as systems that combine the intelligence of advanced AI models with access to tools. They can take actions on your behalf and under your control. Computer use is an important agentic capability.
Currently, computer use models are either like on ChatGPT's $200 per month plan or through the Anthropic API. So like the ability to use this more and more is going to be pretty crazy. So just keep listening.
What enables agents to interact with and operate browsers and other software? Project Mariner was an early step forward in testing computer use capabilities. We released it as an early research prototype in December, and we have made a lot of progress since. First, we are introducing multitasking, and it can now oversee up to 10 simultaneous tasks. Second, it's using a feature called Teach and Repeat. This is where you can show it a task once, and it learns a plan for similar tasks in the future.
Now, I think that teach and repeat function could be really cool for maybe scaling my SEO agency. And maybe you could find some customer service tasks, things like that, maybe even marketing tasks that you can use for teach and repeat. But when it comes to actually getting leads for our business, is this Project Mariner actually going to be important?
Let me show you what we are excited about in the Gemini app. We call it Agent Mode. Say you want to find an apartment for you and 2 roommates in Austin. You've each got a budget of $1,200 a month. You want a washer dryer or at least a laundromat nearby. Normally, you'd have to spend a lot of time scrolling through endless listings. Using Agent Mode, the Gemini app goes to work behind the scenes. It finds listings from sites like Zillow that match your criteria and uses Project Mariner when needed to adjust very specific filters. If there's an apartment you want to check out, Gemini uses MCP to access the listings and even schedule a tour on your behalf. And it'll keep browsing for new listings for as long as you need, freeing you up to do the stuff you want to do, like plan the housewarming party.
This is what I've been starting to talk about on this channel, is that maybe in the near future, we won't be optimizing for humans. We'll be optimizing for agents, agentic capabilities like Project Mariner, maybe even running through Gemini and this crazy little feature that they have here in agent mode. Now, they actually specifically showed this in the search section of I/O, and the example they used were for sports tickets, but stick around because they actually mentioned potentially using this for local providers.
You've already seen how AI mode is becoming more intelligent and personalized. And here's where you start to see search getting more agentic. Search can take work off my plate while still under my control. I'll say, find 2 affordable tickets for this Saturday's Reds game in the lower level. Search kicks off a query fan-out, looking across several sites to analyze hundreds of potential ticket options, doing the tedious work of filling in forms with all the criteria I asked for. And it puts it all together, reasoning across the results to analyze real-time pricing and inventory. Then, right here, task complete. I get great ticket options with helpful context so I can make an informed decision. Looks like these seats have a good view and at a reasonable price. Search helps me skip a bunch of steps, linking me right to finish checking out. Tickets secured. Search will help with tasks like this soon, starting with event tickets, restaurant reservations, and appointments for local services.
Now they mention appointments for local services at the end there. Pretty cool, maybe for the barbers and things like that in your town, but that's just the beginning, right? What's to say that it can't make a phone call on your behalf, which they mentioned in other parts in the IO speech during the bike repair spot. They could reach out to you, the service provider, and ask for a quote. It can collect those quotes and bring it back to the potential client. I mean, this stuff is starting to get a little crazy. My other question is how much of this is going to be real? Because I went back and watched this exact same video I made last year, and a lot of the features that they mentioned specifically when it comes to AI overviews never really came out. They were modified, tweaked, and little slightly changed versions of them still came out, but it was different. So anyway, drop a comment below. I'm curious to know what you think will stick around between Gemini's agent mode to AI mode's deep search functionality. I'm just curious to see what's going to stick this year. Before I bring it home, can we just give respect to the guy with this hat that was sitting perfectly in camera shot the entire time? Excellent work, my guy. Excellent work. So, what's the takeaway for local business owners? For me, what I'm seeing is that Google is continuing to adopt Gemini into their search. Now remember, most people are going to continue to use search. That market share has gone down a little bit. It was predominantly in the low 90%, and now some people are saying it's down as low as 89%. Things like ChatGPT search are trying to chip away. This is Google methodically reacting. They're trying to capture back some of that market share and introduce cool new features because, let's be real, Google search kind of sucks right now. There's a lot of ads, there's a lot of clutter, and that's not fun. So they're trying to figure out how can we get people to come back. They've got fancy features, keep clicking around on YouTube and you'll see Marquise Brown wearing a dress today because of this fancy feature. They're integrating more into Gemini Live, right, which is the Project Astra where you can move things around. And they even announced Android XR, right? So there's a ton of features that they're packing in here. But if you're a small business that serves local customers, your takeaway should be what works for SEO will also work for these new AI searches, okay? Focus on your Google Business Profile. Focus on your website. Focus on building authority. Try to be a little bit more transparent on your website moving forward, okay? I think that is the biggest way to get these things to serve you up even more. Put ballpark quotes on your website. Put timelines on your website. Don't hide stuff. Put it all out there. Be transparent. Actually talk about that more over here in this video. So I encourage you to click through, watch that video, and keep digging deeper because the actions you take today will help you show up when an AI agent's searching for you next year. I'll catch you in the next one.